Ladies and gentlemen, we are live. Welcome to the Hot Pole Studios podcast. Joining me this week is Liam Wright, my regular co-host. How are you, other than a burnt hand?
Other than my burnt hands, yeah, I just put boiling water on myself because I'm an idiot. There's no other reason for it than that. No, I'm all right.
It is the
I'm
best
dark.
reason.
I can tell what time of year it is because this is the same lighting as I had 2 weeks ago when I was on, and you could see me.
Yes.
In darker.
More lighting
and
required.
Yeah, the bulb's gone in this room, and usually I'm working during the day and it's bright enough because the sun comes through. It's a big window. And then at night, I'm usually either in the other room or gaming, and I have it dark for gaming, so it's not really been an issue. And I wasn't expecting to be on. So,
Yeah, I was trying to line up a very special guest for this week, and it didn't quite come through. So yeah, sorry about that, Liam. It's been a bit last minute.
Oh, it's fine with me. It's fine with me.
Yeah, I can't say who it was just yet because it's someone who really is kind of a big deal. But when I get them, you'll know because
I'm a big deal.
Yeah, you're a regular big deal though. Like
yeah.
So yeah,
I'll take that. That sounds good. That sounds good. I mean, a regular big deal.
Yeah. Big deal regularly, yes, absolutely. But yeah, this particular person, when I get them on, I'll be shouting from the rooftops about it. It will be amazing. I almost managed to get Jamie Humphreys on for tonight, who's now a friend of mine. He is the guy who made all the Lick Library DVDs, if you ever watched any of them as a kid learning guitar. Did you ever have any Lick Library stuff? Or was that because I know you were learning guitar?
I learned guitar back in the days when it came on a CD-ROM.
Right. I think we might just be a little bit too old, maybe. But yeah, I know that Jamie did all the Lick Library DVDs and then went and toured with the Brian May band. So yeah, he's a man who's got a lot of history. So he will be on the podcast in 2 weeks' time. Next week, we will have John Brown from Monuments on the podcast. So, cool. Yes, it's going to be an awesome couple of weeks with some awesome guests. And, of course, my regular big deal co-host is here when the guests are not.
Indeed.
Yes. It's been a funny old few weeks. It's I've just got back from having a little holiday. And on that little holiday, I used it as an excuse to go and see the guys at Zilla Cabs. Because since I saw them last, they have moved. They're now in Cornwall. So yeah, I went to see them, and they're doing very well. But they've got a whole new setup that they're kind of rebuilding their lives in Cornwall, in a much bigger factory than they had when they were in Bristol, or around Bristol. Yeah, so they're doing really well. So I appeared on their... Oh, hello. That was loud. Noises. That was noisy. Apologies, everybody. Rip headphones. Oh, boy. Don't know what that was all about, but that was loud.
Hello, sorry.
Hello. What was that about? Is that a routing issue?
Yeah, occasionally my audio through voice meter can go really weird. I don't know what it is.
That was really weird. Yes.
Yeah, I have it sometimes when I have to kind of double check my audio like 3 times before I start a work call. And occasionally I blow people's ears off. I don't know, it's a really basic setup. Like, it's just the SM7 going into the Evo.
Yeah.
I mean, then it does go through the RTX thing.
Right.
So I feel like it's the RTX thing playing up.
It could be, because whatever it was that just hit my ears wasn't your voice, it was something else.
No, yeah, it just kind of goes like, because I've heard it myself, because I can... When people have said what's going on.
Yeah, you've heard its playback.
Route it through, and it's just like...
Yeah.
Yeah, so I apologise to anyone's ears that I just murdered. Please send me the invoice for your ears.
That would include my ears, but that's fine.
I'll pay for your ears too.
Yeah, I don't need them. It's fine. I've got spares. Yeah, so I went away, did a little bit of surfing. I'm terrible at surfing.
How are the guys from Zilla?
They are doing very well. They have new machines and a nice big building, but because they moved, they got into the building about a month before the whole lockdown started. They're not quite where they would like to be in terms of the setup, but they're doing really well. Business is booming, and they're taking on more people. So yeah, they're doing very well. And yes, as I was saying, I am on the Zilla Cabs YouTube channel today. They have released a video where we put a giant stack of speakers and lots of amps together and had a lot of fun and compared some speakers. So yeah, there's going to be a lot more coming from me and the guys at Zilla because I shot 2 videos for myself while I was there as well, and we shot one for them, which they've just released. I've now got about 20 videos to release. It's getting real. So much content. Hello? I think your RTX voice might be a bit strong. Ooh. Oh, he says one with the thing. What is he doing? He's being a mime. Oh yes, that's right. So on our Patreon right now, there is a video of a jam between me and Jen Majora. Jen Majora from Evanescence, me and her having a little 10-minute jam in one of the extra rooms at 42 Gear Street. Oh, I can hear you again.
Yeah, I'm just terrified of it happening again, so it started being weird, so I just muted myself while I tried to figure it out.
Ah, okay. Good shout. I didn't hear anything on this side. So,
cool.
Yeah.
Full disclaimer, I will not pay for anyone's ears. It's not my fault. It's my computer.
Yes. The computer will pay with all of its earthly money.
Indeed.
But yeah, on the Patreon right now, as I was saying, there's a video of me and Jen Majora, the guitarist from Evanescence, I can barely speak, having a proper little jam session. And there's a few more jams coming out. Lots more videos from 42 Gear Street. I've also got videos coming out on Mammoth, the bass plugin, Drumformer, all sorts of stuff. I literally just yesterday released the video of the song from Nam, which has only taken me 6 months. Yeah, that took far too long to get finished. But yeah, that has guest solos from Jeremy Kroll and Jeremy Vareo from Donkeys and Demos, and that was really cool. So check that out, everybody. But yeah, what else? I've got Isotopes RX8. That's yet to go out. And I think that's most of them that are actually uploaded for now. There's a vlog as well of me doing more stuff in the studio. Oh boy, I've been busy and will continue to be busy. Busy is good.
Busy is good.
Busy is better than not busy. Yes. And Lee Anderton, Captain Anderton from Anderton's Music. As far as I know, he was playing with the thing that I still cannot talk about, Project X, today on his Facebook. That's kind of a big deal.
All right.
So yeah, we're getting very, very close to being able to announce what Project X is. So I'm very excited for that. We're about 98% of the way there. I've got a couple of corrections that I need to make in the morning to one of the things with the stuff. Still trying to be purposefully vague. And then we are go. And the companies involved in Project X will then do their thing with a big reveal and a big push and a promotion with the guitarists and that. Yes. Purposeful vagueness is difficult. But yeah, there's a lot coming together at the moment, and it's very, very exciting, and I can't wait to show you all everything that's been happening. I don't like keeping things behind the scenes. So, without further ado, a few things have happened in the news this week, so it is time for the news. The news. The news. That worked. Yay. Ta-da. So I thought I would open with this story because this has been one of the more funny items for me this week is the Walrus Audio Julianna. This is a deluxe chorus stereo vibrato pedal that kind of supersedes their Julia pedal, which is kind of the mono version of this. Now, the reason it's been funny is that when I was at 42 Gear Street, the pedal hadn't been released yet, and most of the guitarists there really, really wanted to make a demo video about this pedal. So back to back to back to back, about 7 or 8 of them did videos, and they all edited them, and they all released them on exactly the same day, which I think was Tuesday this week, as well as some of the big name YouTubers like Rabia and a few other people. So everybody's timelines who follow quite a few of these guitarists were just flooded with, hey, here's this pedal, everybody buy this pedal. I took the smart option and didn't do a video on that particular pedal and went off and did a video on something else, because there is such thing as saturation, and it was hilarious. But then you start seeing people complaining about, yeah, I've just seen like 10 videos about this. Yeah. Oh dear. And so it is a really cool sounding pedal, and I definitely want one. And I'll be talking to Walrus Audio about maybe doing a really in-depth video on it, because as everybody who watches the podcast and the show knows, that's what I do. And rather than having 15 minutes to, having never seen a pedal before, just go, and try and get a decent sound out of it, I'll really take some time with it, if possible. And so, yeah, they're not cheap. They're 230 quid for this little thing. But,
oh, wow.
Yeah. This is kind of the chorus to end all choruses. This is the one that sounds... They sound incredible, I'll be honest, but yeah, it's a lot of money. And yeah, very, very nice from Walrus Audio. So check that out. I mean, it's the kind of thing where if you really, really are nut for chorus and you hear this demoed properly, I think quite a few people go, yes, I will buy that. So, moving on.
It looks cool.
Yeah, it is. It's really nice. Walrus Audio's stuff is really tastefully designed. They do like set color palettes for each pedal, so that they're kind of a color scheme, like different shades of blue for one, different shades of brown for another one, that kind of thing. It's really nice. It's quite a tasteful way of doing it. Speaking of things that look really nice, these are a couple of guitars that I thought were very pretty and quite practical. Harley Benton, Thomann, Thomann's own brand, have launched these, the Solid Wood Grand Concert Acoustic. Now, it's a nice looking concert grand, so it's not the biggest acoustic guitar, which is good for players who are not like 6'5", huge, massive people. This is ideal for someone like me. I've got quite short arms. I can't really reach over a large jumbo acoustic very comfortably. And it's got this thing called a Venetian Cutaway, and I'll see if I can... Yeah, there we go. Find a better picture of it. That is where, your front of where your arm reaches over. It's a 45-degree angle with softened off edges. Because if there's one thing that always annoyed me about most acoustic guitars, is right here, there's always a bit that just cuts into my arm as I lean over it for any extended period of time. And to just have that really nicely... it's quite pretty as well, but just ergonomic and soft and not painful. Anything that takes obstacles away for me is always a plus. And apparently they sound really nice. They've got the the Fishman set up in there, and Fishman do some very, very nice preamps. And they are just over £400. So what, €450, $500-ish? Yeah.
I really like the look of that. If I was to get a new acoustic, I'd be tempted.
Me too. I'll certainly be looking at them. Got the V-bracing as well, ? From chat. I don't think they will be using V-bracing, because that seems to be a copyrighted thing for Taylor. So it's probably the standard X bracing, I would have thought. But I'm not going to take one apart just to try it. Or I might take the strings off and stick a GoPro in there if I ever do get one. That could be cool. Yes. But yeah, I thought that was worth mentioning. Now,
yeah, definitely.
yeah, Kush Audio. These guys really intrigue me, Kush Audio, because they make hardware and they make software. And what they've been doing is they make these real analog preamps that are really quite clean and designed specifically to use with their own software to kind of use them together to get a particular sound. And now they've got a compressor, digital compressor, that they call Silica. Silica, silicon, computer, very clever pun, that they claim sounds as good as analog. Now, how much of this is marketing? That's the question. They claim they've completely closed the analog-digital gap. And the Silica is sonically identical to the types of hardware it's modeled after. That's a bold claim right there.
Yeah.
I mean,
That's a big claim.
Yeah, it looks from the design like it's the kind of compressor I would like to use. It's got separate kind of saturation and compression controls, which for me, a lot of the vintage compressors, the entire reason that you use them is that they're not actually very clean. They've got a character to them that makes them sound really kind of cool. And the fact that you can control them separately appeals to my sensibilities of I might want a bit more compression without more distortion or the other way around, and that's really quite convenient to have all that there. And it's $99, which isn't the most expensive, but might be worth giving this a go. But that just came out, and yeah, it'd be interesting to try one of their preamps with their software and see how they play together. Yeah, very cool the way it's got 3 needles in this kind of analog style meter, and they all kind of do different levels, so you can see everything all in one go, depending on which needle you look at, so you're not getting 3 different graphs. So it's quite a convenient way of looking things. I like that idea. Yes. So yeah, that might be worth going to go and buy. Now, Harley Benton again. This one intrigued me because this is a full range active guitar cabinet that is very, very not expensive. This is £270, and it's a 2x12 cabinet with its own amplification in. Bless you. And it's also got high frequency drivers, so it's supposed to basically not sound like a guitar cabinet unless you put a modeler through it that's got a specific sound. It's supposed to impart that sound rather than the sound of specific speakers. And I've seen full range rigs before, but the fact that this is less than £300 is what really caught my eye.
So is this designed so that you could maybe put it through like something that'll have IRs in it so that you can use this as every amp sort of thing?
Exactly. Yeah, that's the exact thing that this I think is designed for, is that this replaces the classic kind of monitor wedge, but it's more guitarist focused. So I would imagine it's got a bit more of that kind of thump and that kind of thing. Yeah, any kind of modeling technology you've got, whether you've got an Axe FX or a Helix or whatever it is that you've got, or like this mentions, the DNA FX floorboard modeler, which is the new Harley Benton modeler. See how much we talked about that on the news one time? Yeah, we did that silver thing. That was going for £130 for that, which put the two together and you've got a full modeling rig, which could be a definite contender. Yes.
Interesting.
But because it's full range,
that with your slate mic, and all of a sudden you can have everything in like 3 bits of gear.
Yeah. Maybe. Yeah. Model this, model that, model everything. Why not?
Yeah.
So from that to something that is a rumor, apparently it's a leak. Native Instruments, their kind of drum thing, a groove has been Machine, which has been up until now a USB controller controlling a laptop, usually, where you control all the drums and that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And so now they're moving away from that and making a standalone box. So you can
All right.
trigger loops and drums and things without needing a separate computer. Could be very useful for live performance. Oh, apparently since this post went live, Native Instruments has officially launched this thing, the Machine Plus. So yeah, gearnews.com got there early with this, and it's out. So that's cool. It's got MIDI in and out, so you can control it separately. Yeah, buy it now. Ooh, the price is a little steep at $1,399.
I'll take 3.
Yes, why not? One for each hand and one spare.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean, it is an entire computer system, really, in a small form factor. Looks like it's got a fairly big screen there. So it's kind of like Ableton Live, but without the reliance on a separate machine. So this could be something that a lot of electronic artists actually kind of lean towards.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But we shall see. It's got lots of inputs for processing audio live, microphone in, line ins. So it's not just a doof, 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 doof box. It looks like it's got, lots of processing.
It's an interesting concept.
Yes. But from one leak to the next, Teenage Engineering, who make the Pocket Operator, it's kind of like a calculator, but it's a synth that makes womp womp noises. But it's about that big. Looks like they're going to be making a Bluetooth speaker to go with it. And this thing, it's quite big, actually. But it looks kind of like an old hi-fi separate, which is a bit weird. But then all of their stuff is a bit weird. Question is, does it sound good? And so, yeah, I think we mentioned this at one point soon. But they're starting to show little sections of it. And yeah, so the name's something 4, so probably OB4. We'll find out more at the end of the month, but if it's as big as I think it is, which is several inches deep, then for a Bluetooth speaker it should give you fairly decent sound. That could be very versatile, because one of the big issues I have with most Bluetooth speakers is they don't sound very good. And it's generally because they're little piddly boxes that can't resonate. So if this is done right and actually lasts on battery long enough, because I think that's the idea, then that could be an interesting thing. Yeah, looks like the IKEA Sonos speaker. Yeah, maybe. I mean, this isn't the final product as far as I can tell. This looks like some sort of engineering sample, but Teenage Engineering, who knows? They make weird stuff. So who can say? Who can say? It's time for Behringer Corner. Yeah. Now, a few weeks ago, or maybe not even that long ago, we talked about Behringer's RD6 and how it was going to come in lots and lots of different colours. And they are now out. And they are not expensive. They are less than £150 for a full-fledged drum machine programmable thing that you can make all your like acid bass kind of stuff. Exactly like that. Because that's how acid bass sounds. But yeah, every colour, they're all available. You can get them all from Thomann. I should probably drop a Thomann link in the chat. Oh, I can see that there's an affiliate link on there, because I know how that works now, because I've got one. Since we were last on the podcast, I now have all the links in all the YouTube videos as Thomann affiliate links, and they do ship to the US. So yes, if there's anything you've been looking at buying and anything we talk about, go and click one of the links that are in our descriptions and go and find things on the Thomann website, and that helps us out a little bit. We get a bit of a kickback from that from you. So yes, go do if there's anything you need. That helps us out, and why not? It's all very much appreciated. But yes, Behringer
Very cool.
making stuff that's very,
They
very
look
funky.
ace.
Yeah, they do look cool. And so all the electronic nerds can have one in their favorite color and then link them up and battle Pokemon.
Mhm.
Oh wait, no, that's a different thing.
Mhm.
Yes, they look like pocket Game Boys though. Is it Game Boy Colors were the ones that were translucent? I never actually.
I've got a Game Boy Color that's translucent. Yeah.
Yeah, I never had a Game Boy at all. Funnily enough, yeah, strange.
I have just managed to take the save game file off of my original edition of Pokemon Blue from 20 years ago
Wow,
and put it onto my computer.
that's impressive.
Yeah.
I mean, so did you have
So
some
my
sort of
next,
card reader?
yeah, I've got a little device that allows me to do it.
Ah, cool.
This.
Ooh, hacky.
So it was like 20 odd quid on eBay, and then I had a bit of issue with software, but finally sorted it. And then yeah, you just put it in, put your Game Boy cartridge in it, and then you can rip the ROM off it if you want to. But I just wanted to get the save game file, so it's just 2 files on there, a ROM and a save game. I've got the save game, so now all I need to do is find a DS that I can homebrew. The one that we've got has got firmware version 11 on that apparently makes it harder to do. So you've homebrewed a DS before, haven't you?
A homebrew, yes. Yeah, I've got a 3DS with homebrew on it.
Yeah, so I might pick your brains on that because once I've done that, I can then download the virtual store version of Pokemon, the virtual console, version. And then if I homebrew it, I can then replace the save game file with my save game file. And then, and
Yes.
this is the cool bit, I can then upload the Pokemon from there to Pokemon Bank, and then from there to the Pokemon Home, and then from there to Sword and Shield on my Switch.
Wow.
Because there is now soft like Pokemon Home now allows you to bring your Pokemon from every generation of game into one place, so you can literally collect them all in one place.
Wow.
So yeah,
That's
I'll be able
some
to
next
play.
level stuff.
I mean, it's daft, but I've got a level 100 Pikachu that I caught when I was 14, and at 34, I can play with it on a next gen machine. I think that's pretty ace.
Yes. Ooh, yes. Right, and that was the news. The news. There we go. I just got distracted. There's a bit of drama going on. There's an amp being made, which is very exciting by Jupiter Effects called the Omarkt, and someone in the comments is raving about, oh, it's a Seriatone clone that they're just reselling, and it's not. But you know when someone won't be told something that is the truth.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Hot Pole, homebrew, and this podcast has nothing to do with beer. Yes, quite. It's funny, isn't it? Yeah. Homebrew software. If only we did nothing but homebrew software. Yes. If we did nothing but homebrew software.
It's not actually illegal to homebrew, but it's illegal to make the software for it, and it's illegal to rip ROMs, none of which I'm actually doing. I'm literally just trying to get my pod little save game from 20 years ago onto my Switch.
Yeah. Well, the legality of it is very grey because, as far as I'm aware, mostly all the stuff that you agree to in terms and conditions and that stuff, it's not legal anyway. It's civil.
Right.
Yeah. So as far as I'm aware, that you're agreeing as a nice person not to do stuff, but they would have to take a real stretch to make it a legal thing. They could, and they scare people with it, but yeah, I don't know. Mm-hmm. That's the extent of my knowledge on the situation.
No, but I say I'm not actually trying to rip games, and downloading games from the internet and putting them on isn't allowed. But
no. But one thing I do know is that in the UK, at least, there is a UK law that allows us to have a backup version of anything we own. like if you've got a CD that you've bought and you rip a backup of it, that is legal in this country, as is like backing up a ROM of a game, as long as you can prove you actually own it.
And you don't share it.
Yeah, well, yes, exactly. The grey area is that if you back that up and share it with somebody who also has an actual copy of it, that's technically okay, but that's a 1 in a million. That's so unlikely that it's real grey area. Oh, did we see the Guitar World story where Kenny Wayne Shepherd admitted all of his Fender amps are actually Dumbles? Did not see that. And let's have a look, because that sounds like that could be interpreted in many ways. Did he admit that his on-stage Fender amps are actually Dumbles with Fender faceplates? Ah, right. Okay, that's funny. Back to this. So Kenny Wayne Shepherd, someone who I'm not particularly familiar with, but I know is a very well-known American blues player. Alexander Dumble makes these very expensive custom-made amp heads. And I'm imagining that Kenny Wayne Shepherd has some sort of endorsement deal with Fender, which is why this would be a grey area. And that's really funny to me. Although I suppose he could use the excuse that they are actually Fender amps and that all Alexander Dumble is doing is changing them inside once he's bought them. Because then that's like saying you bought a Ford Mustang and then changing out the engine for a Lamborghini engine. It's still a Ford Mustang.
Mm-hmm.
Or is it? But that's another grey area. Yeah. Interesting. Actually, he makes exactly the same analogy. Like a sleeper car, apparently. Basically, if you pull up to a car and maybe your grandmother might be driving, but it has 800 horsepower under the hood. Yeah. Oh, Marty's saying as well about the news about face busking, as he calls it, no longer being allowed. I saw some mention of that. Busking, no, not allowed. Let's see if we can find something. I'm not entirely sure how to find a news article on that, but I have heard that, the Facebook are changing their live streaming system so that if you play covers of songs, it'll basically shut you down now. Rather than, yeah. I mean, it was always, that was always a legal grey area. That's probably what triggered that thought. Because if you're playing cover songs live on somebody's platform, how do the royalties and revenue and all that kind of thing get dealt with, or do they? Yeah, so it does make sense because, that's such a dangerous topic to begin with. I mean, if I was to cover a song of somebody's and then upload it to somewhere like YouTube, then that usually gets picked up and then any revenue gets shared and that kind of thing works itself out. But when you're doing it live, how's that going to work? So I think Facebook have just gone, nope, we're out. And I would imagine that the reason for that is that the record labels, the big 3 record labels, are breathing down their necks, demanding payments. Facebook are notoriously tight about giving out money unless they're buying companies. So, so they've probably gone, you know what? Let's just not bother. It's very interesting. I wonder what the statistics are that, because I've seen quite a few musicians that I know, especially during the lockdown period, have been doing online shows in place of their regular venue shows. And it's kind of a way for them to keep in the public eye. Maybe people are making small donations. And I mean, I wonder if they'll come back with a system where you could do it if you declare what songs you're going to do, or I don't know. Because generally
Not sure.
with the Performing Rights Society and the US equivalents, which I think is ASCAP, you generally you go and play a show, and then afterwards you send all the details in to the Performing Rights Society, and eventually, about 300 years later, they send you a check for 4 cents or whatever it is for having performed songs. But they also, if you were not the songwriter, send the money to that person instead. So but then their revenue gets collected in separate ways, so it's all an in and out system. And with it all being on Facebook Live, and there's no advertising that I know of on live videos. Maybe that's the thing, is they've found that if you put a 30-second advert to pay for it at the start of a live video, people don't even get that far. So they've just decided that their statistics point to, let's just not bother. Because if I was to watch a Twitch stream for someone who I'm not subscribed to on Twitch, because a subscription on Twitch is a paid thing that removes the advertisements, I would be willing to sit through 30 seconds because I know I'm in for the long haul. Because when you're watching a live game streamer or music streamer or whatever it is, 30 seconds compared to the length of the show is entirely reasonable. And I also find the same with YouTube. Anybody who's tuned in today to watch us, for example, unless you have YouTube Premium, I would imagine most of you had to watch either 1 or 2 adverts, for which I'm very grateful. But when you know you're going to sit down for an hour-long show, again, that doesn't seem particularly like a bad thing. But Facebook, I think, have a far more transient audience. Would you agree with that?
What do you mean by transient audience?
If I'm on YouTube, my intention is to watch a video. So if I'm clicking on something and there's an ad, I always knew that was part of it. Whereas on Facebook, a lot of the content isn't long form videos, and that might not necessarily be my intention. So a lot of the time, I think what I mean by transient as a viewer is they're flicking through their feed, flick, 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 flick. And if someone comes on for 5 seconds and they impress me, I might stay. Or I might not. And if there's a 30-second advert there, I'm definitely not going to stay. I'm just going to keep flicking. You see what I mean?
I think it depends on, obviously, where you ingest your content and the type of people. Because there's some people that just live on Facebook, and that is their lives, and it's their entire internet. And there's a lot of really big streamers that people wait for and will, just like with Twitch and YouTube, will wait for them to go live and will watch them, go to their page. They've got some cool stuff around on Facebook pages. You know how you can be like the top commenter and stuff. So you can get feedback as part of the community just by engaging with things. So I think there is definitely a community for it. But I think if you're going to go for average YouTuber versus average Facebook user, I'd agree with you completely.
Yes. Okay, 1 second. Yeah. There we go.
Because I think just general average users, you go into Facebook to see what people you've not spoke to in 20 years are doing, and you go to YouTube to watch some crap.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the lines blur, of course, but I think by and large, that does kind of sum it up, yeah. Where the intention of what you want to do when you're on the platform is quite different. And yeah, I
do think that is a case by case user thing, though. I say that's your intention and people you know's intention. You've got lots of different demographics.
Yeah, sure. But what I think what was more getting at is if you're on YouTube, generally speaking, I mean, there are so many different ways to use Facebook. Absolutely. But something like YouTube is a relatively specific thing. And so on YouTube is a good example, I think, if there is a 30-second advert or even with a skip ad, whatever, generally speaking, your intention is to, you intended to go there to watch the thing you have clicked on. Whereas with Facebook, I find that a lot more is presented to me, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, and also, I mean, there's no other real option. You know how YouTube works. You know you got to watch a video, so...
Yeah. And coming back to the original... Go on.
I'm going to say, if you bounce off that video, you're expecting you're going to see an advert on another video, so...
Yeah. And also you're expecting to just go to watch another video. Yeah. Whereas on Facebook, I might... Or whoever, the person might get bored of the video and go to see their friend's feed or whatever it might be. It's percentage-wise not video, if you know what I mean. There is a large percentage of Facebook traffic that is not that thing. Yes. And so, yeah, I think Facebook have just kind of gone, well, this isn't something where we can get our claws into and retain the audience. So maybe it's just not worth it for us at all. So they've just shut the whole thing down.
Yeah, don't know. I'm not too sure. Seems it's with laws like that changing all the time around what people are, what companies are responsible for from users.
Yeah,
it's a tough one.
Okay. Any more orders of business from the chat, everybody? I know the chat isn't up on the middle of the screen today. There's something strange going on with Restream. It's not picking up the YouTube chat at all. So I have, for this week, elected to just not have a thing stuck in the screen that has a couple of pieces of Twitch chat. Hello to David in Twitch chat.
Hello.
But hello. Yes, let's see what comes through in the chat. Thank you to Al in chat who has given us $5 as a super chat. That is always appreciated.
Wow.
Always appreciated, Al. Cheers.
Very much appreciated.
Yes, we have been talking a lot in the chat this week, in Discord mostly, about things like whether you should have DI boxes, and yes, you should, and whether as a good example, the Mackie Big Knob passive was any good. It's not. And we've been throwing some ideas around and spitballing about things like t-shirt ideas and mug ideas, some of which I thought were very funny. So I think I'll be looking at, for the time being at least, maybe set up something like a Teespring store just to have an option available maybe. And then going forward, actually do a thing and make a little run.
Yeah, sounds good.
Yeah. So it's been in the works for a while, but now that we've got some ideas that I like that actually make me smile rather than just being a logo, then I think it's time to make something that will also make other people smile. Yes. What else? Oh, Al did post in chat, free for a limited time. Let's have a look. The IK Multimedia T-Rex Classic Clipper. See if I can see if I can just copy that into the chat. Don't know if that's gonna work, but let's find out. But yeah, T-Rex, the classic clipper, I must have used for the first time 15 years ago, and it was good then, and it's good now. So yes. Something about Restream only allowing YouTube events. Maybe, I mean, the way that I do, this is no secret, the way that I tend to do my YouTube streams for this is I use YouTube events, which means that I can have it scheduled ahead of time. That way, whenever I know when I'm going to be streaming ahead of time, and I know I don't always, but whenever I do, I can have that so you guys know, and I can have more than one event then, so that, a good example was a few weeks ago, I had the podcast lined up, but I also had a live mixing stream for the Sunday lined up. And those two, you could see them both. So that was great. Hello to Jotum Sovengar in the Twitch chat. I can't even speak today. Blah, 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 blah. Yes. And people in the chat saying they closed their Facebook accounts years ago. Yes. I'm trying to think now what's happened this week, because it was one of those things this week where everything has happened. I've been talking to lots and lots of companies about lots and lots of ideas, all of which are not at a stage where I can tell the general public about yet. Because
lots of parcels to the door as well.
yeah, sorry about that. I've not ordered much though. That's the thing. It's just that companies I've been talking to for months, for whatever reason, the very day that I'm like, right, I'm going on holiday. Right, all the parcels are going to arrive now. Oh,
Something came today as well.
Did it? Oh wow! I don't even know what. I genuinely don't know what. I don't think I've ordered anything.
Christmas.
Yeah, it will be. I'll be in the studio tomorrow morning and I'll just be like, what is all this? But yeah, I do have a very exciting video for me coming out as a reamping nerd. That I have 2 reamp boxes arriving from America, from a company called Signal Art Electronics. And they are arguably some of the best reamp boxes in the world. So I'm very excited to use those. Yes.
Very cool.
So that's one I can definitely tell you about. The rest I can't even remember, or I don't know actually what's turning up. Maybe Audient can send a sono to Scott for me. Scott has a sono from Audient. We made that happen. So yes, Danny, good shout, but that we may not have shouted about that enough at the time. But yes, to recap for anybody who wasn't in the loop, my friend Scott Elliott from Chernobyl Studios over in Ukraine, I decided to send him my Audient Sono interface, and it got stolen in the mail. But yes, Audient, good as they are, I got in contact with them and they helped out and they sent him a new one in with their next big pallet of equipment that went to the Ukraine. So yeah, thank you, Audient. That was awesome. I do keep pestering Audient as well to be like, hey, when's the Evo 8 ready? When's the Evo 8? So everybody keep pestering Audient. They'll be ready soon, I'm sure. They said it'd be 6 to 10 weeks in January. But we all know what happened. So there's absolutely nothing bad I can say there. It's just these things happen. Yes. I need an effect button so when I say in the world, it can do a big reverb. Yes. Absolutely. I mean, to my shame, I don't know if this will reach in front of camera. I'm currently in Behringer Corner. I'm using a UM2, which is just about the worst interface I've used since I had one of those crappy Tascam units way back in 2005. But it's less than 30 quid for the whole thing. So it does a job. I actually got it a year ago to do a video on the worst, cheapest interface that I could find on Amazon. And I never got round to it, but it's actually in use right now. I do have, funnily enough, I do have the Behringer 404 HD here, and this is actually a lot better. This thing's a million times better. This thing is genuinely good. I mean, the preamps in this are actually really clean. I've been using this on the live streams in the studio. This takes the voiceover microphones and blends them into the live streaming setup, and then the sound from the studio PC comes in digitally. And between them, that's how we get our live broadcast. I brought this home to do a couple of these podcasts with, and then I remembered that I had the UM2, and as much as it doesn't sound quite as good, it's passable. It works. It's not as if I'm doing a full-on performance with it. So, it'll do. When I get back to doing actual tracking and reamping and stuff, I'll hopefully be in the studio a lot more from now on, so it's less of a concern in this little box room that I'm in.
That sounds good.
So that's there's a lot of fun in store for us. There's a lot to do. I am now tasked with mixing at least 2 albums, so I've got a lot going on there. I'm going to be doing a lot of work with a friend, which is one of those things I can't tell the public about just yet, but I'll tell you after the stream. And yeah, I have, like I said, 20 odd videos to release and a book full, an actual like physical book full of ideas and scripts for more videos. So it's all coming. There's so much that I have in store for you all, and I'm incredibly excited. Yes. So, I still have to recap all those BBC preamps. Yes, I do. I have all the capacitors for those now, Marty. I have enough capacitors in the right types to recap all my BBC preamps. And on my desk, I now have 6040 lead solder. This stuff was incredibly hard to get. This stuff took 6 weeks to get here, because in a lot of places this stuff's kind of illegal. Yeah, but it's the only stuff that you really should use with vintage hardware. You can't use proper lead solder in modern electronics, but you don't really want to mix on the old stuff, so that's why. And yeah. Fun. That's going to be very therapeutic for me, sitting down and recapping all those, because that'll be some zen for me. I'll be in our storeroom at the studio. I'll probably live stream it just to keep me sane. Probably an Instagram live stream, because it's not the kind of thing that you would do on, a proper YouTube live stream. But yeah, I'll take a phone in with a charger and get a soldering iron. Maybe Scott can lend me a gas mask. I've got a proper gas mask, actually. I've got a proper filtering double canned gas mask, which even with the massive extractor fans that we have in our storeroom, that's the reason I would say our storeroom, actually, because that sounds like a bad place to do soldering. But in our building, not the case. That's right, isn't it? We've got some big air in and out intake and circulation in our storeroom. Yeah. So it's actually better than a ventilated room with an open window. We actually have an extractor system. So yeah. If I was going to do anything with molten lead anywhere, that would be the place to do it.
Yeah, if you whack it on full, then it'll take any of the air out of there. No problem.
Yes. Yeah. So probably much safer to do that there than anywhere.
Especially if you do it near the vents.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm thinking. I'd probably put the soldering mat underneath the one that says out. Just sucks the air up in. Yes, I do. I've got a desk right underneath the extractor. So yeah, that's very, very, very useful. And that's another of the many, many, many things that will be coming over the next couple of months. Hello, Nicola in chat. Unfortunately, we are just about to disappear. Yes. But yes, I've told you all about the many, many things that are coming up. And if you were not tuned in for the very start of the podcast, I'll say one more time. Next week, we are having John Brown from Monuments on the channel, who's a good friend of mine, and is an absolutely wicked guitar player. And the week after that, we're having Jamie Humphreys on the channel, who made all the Lick Library DVDs. Is a long-standing Mesa Boogie artist, Music Man artist, has toured with the Brian May Band, has done many, 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 many things, and I'm sure he'll tell us all about his fascinating past. For the meantime, it's time for us both to disappear in a puff of smoke, and we will see you very, very shortly.
Bye, everybody.
Adios, everybody. Goodbye.
Hey everyone, that might be the end of the video, but if you fancy carrying on this conversation, we have a Discord server, link is in the description. We're also on Patreon, which is something you can really help us with. We also are on Facebook, Instagram and Twitter at Hop Pole Studios. See you there.